All righty, we are back here at Ladd Peebles Stadium, site of the Senior Bowl practices, and the practice will start off in about a half hour. The first practice will take over. The South team will take the field. Jim Miller does an excellent job for SiriusXM. You can catch him there on the NFL channel. And obviously been a friend of mine for a long, long time. Always kind enough to join us here on the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Always be good to be with you. And if there's a good cigar bar in Mobile, I'm sure you already found it.
Oh, yeah, man. You know I know him by heart right now. So, yeah, we're looking for it. Although they've eliminated a couple here.
Oh.
Like the Admiral's gone, where we used to hang out all the time there. That was like a staple for us. And then obviously Sammy's, which was, an institution. Notice how social media eliminated that. Jim, dude, this is my 21st year, buddy. 15 years ago, I could be talking to assistant and head coaches at a strip club. They weren't getting dances.
Right.
They were just hanging out and having a beer or two and all. Social media now
destroys everything.
They can't even go have a beer, dude.
Yeah.
They don't even want to be taken. They tell me, like, I don't want to be taking a picture with a drink in my hand.
Right.
Forget about being in a strip club.
Yeah.
But back then, we weren't going to say that we were talking to you in a strip club. We didn't care about it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Now it's like, hey, it's Coach whatever in a strip club, Coach whatever in a bar. And it's like, dude, you're ruining everything that we do in this business, bro.
Yeah. Because it was, well, it's like you said. I mean, it was used to be a laid back, informal, like you said, where you could get up close and personal, and guys were willing to talk. Guys would give you information. They're like, hey, yeah, you can use that, and you just have a conversation. Like you said, you were friends, but off the field stuff, that's off the field personal stuff. When you're talking football and all that. I mean, this is on the field stuff, and you're right. Everybody's scared to death of it. Like you said, if they go out and do one thing, somebody's going to catch them. It's a gotcha moment type of thing, and it does. It's kind of ruined everything because it was always laid back.
Because then you create your own narrative off that picture. Even though it's completely off, you'll create your own narrative. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They catch him with one drink. Oh, he must be an alcoholic. No, dude, he's just having a drink.
Just out after a long day's work. Because people forget, I played in this game back in 1994. Believe it or not, they're – now it's all fenced off and things like that, but it used to be lined on the sidelines with every coach, every GM, every scout, and literally, like when you were doing one-on-ones with quarterbacks, like I remember Ron Earhart, who I ended up getting drafted by, he was the OC of the Steelers, literally a coach would come off the sideline and say, Jim, I need to see you throw a go route right now. It was basically coached by all 32 teams. Granted, the Bengals and the Lions are here doing the coaching, but it was just different back then, and every year it's obviously gotten more commercialized. There's more media credentials. Yeah. A lot of these media members think they're making a name for themselves, and they're actually ruining it for everybody.
Right.
Because all the intel and great information was back in the day when it was just laid back and informal, and you get great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a shame, man. I don't have the same freedoms I used to have with guys anymore. It's like, I can't just be out like that and all that. And it's just now you got to meet them somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're scheduling something when it could have been done, a lot easier.
Right.
In a conversation, having a beer.
It's crazy. All right. So seems like the same questions and things that you and I talk about every year, quarterbacks with the Miami Dolphins. One of the kids that I'm super excited about this week is Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I really love, for a lack of a better term, his ability, his God-given gifts that he has. He's a little raw, and it looked like he played on a bad team, and he had to do a lot more than he should. What do you know about the kid, and what are you looking forward to seeing?
I think there's a lot of similarities with Josh Allen, who got chosen by the Buffalo Bills. Like you said, he's he's a really good athlete who can move. He's got a very good pocket presence, and he can spin it. He's a natural thrower. But the same criticisms of Josh Allen come with Love, meaning, he's inaccurate, he's this, he's that. But as you've already seen, Josh Allen, with his athleticism, can take over a game. Yeah, there are things he needs to work on, but his talent is top tier. And I think Jordan Love probably could be one of the biggest risers here at the Senior Bowl. I think him and Herbert, with Burrow not being here, those two have the most to gain would be my take on it. And I'm excited to see him. I don't get to watch a lot of West Coast football, so just to see him up close and personal, like we saw Carson Wentz. Remember Carson Wentz? Oh, North Dakota State, he can't play, right?
Us away, dude.
Yeah, North Dakota State comes down here and ends up Philadelphia trades up to number 2 to get him. And I think Love and obviously Herbert really have an opportunity to do well for themselves here with Burrow sitting. Because, if I'm those two guys, I'd be saying, why can't I go number 1? Burrow's is not here in this game. I can really add my value and gain a lot of stock if they come out and say, hey, what can I do to put some doubts in people's mind?
Jim, you played the position, and so walk us through this. When a guy, because and scouts will tell you this, and I'm sure you've heard it, and you have probably the same philosophy as a lot of us do. Mm-hmm. If you're inaccurate in college, you will be inaccurate in the NFL. Why is it that we try to turn them into accurate guys when they're not? Either you have it or you don't. There are some guys you can improve with their fundamentals.
Yeah, the footwork.
But it's either you have it or you don't, dude.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember Josh Allen, everybody having that criticism about him, and I said, it's just not true. He's a great athlete like Love. A lot of it deals with footwork. In order to be an accurate passer, you've got to be what we call in balance, to throw the football. Meaning you want your feet shoulder width apart with a good base, and you're going to be more accurate when you can throw in that position. You always can pop your feet and do certain things to get yourself in that position, even if it's a millisecond before you deliver the pass. Of course, there's going to be other pass plays where it's not perfect, where you're throwing off your back foot or your feet aren't where they need to be, and you still got to be accurate, be able to flick your wrist and have a proper follow-through to deliver an accurate football. From Josh Allen's first year to even last year, he was a lot better. He was a lot better because Brian Daboll, the OC, they worked with him on it. They went through those fundamentals, and he will get better. And I would say the same for Love or any quarterback. The more you can throw in balance, you're going to be good. The special ones can do it when it's never perfect. The Russell Wilsons of the world.
Yeah, Favre was like that too.
But you can get there. You can get there. You just got to work on it. It's something you got to be conscious of. But you can improve your accuracy as a quarterback. If you're a natural thrower, it's always best that you can do it because a lot of it just deals with footwork, and you can correct from the waist down. How you throw, I'm a big believer in is how you throw. So if you're a Colin Kaepernick, that's a 3/4 arm thrower. You're always going to be a 3/4 arm thrower. I remember Bears drafted Cade McNown, since your producer's a huge Bears fan. Cade was a 3/4 thrower, and they tried to get him in a pool and try and teach him to throw overhand, pronate your wrist, and over the top. It was great in the pool. Once you get on the field, you're going to go back to who you are.
Right.
But footwork, you can correct below the waist.
The worst stat ever for Cade McNown is he's the guy that got thrown out of the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, that was a bad one. You don't want to be known for that.
How do you get thrown out of that place?
I would never want to get thrown out of the mansion.
So you got placed in heaven and you wanted out? What the hell's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah, that's a bad bad decision.
You just know you're not wired right when you get booted from the Playboy Mansion.
Probably the best quarterback trait you can be rated for is decision making.
Yes.
He failed that one. That's a bad decision. Bad business decision, bad every decision.
That was a bad one. All right. So what can you tell me about Anthony Johnson, the kid from Washington State? Anthony Gordon, I'm sorry, from Washington State. I watched a couple of games of his this year. I don't get to see a lot of Washington State. But that dude's been working with quarterbacks for a while.
Yeah. Well, it says a lot about Mike Leach in that program. Think about it. There's been 3 Washington State quarterbacks that have been down here. Luke Falk, who was with your Miami Dolphins for a cup of coffee. And then you think of Gardner Minshew and what he did last year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Same thing. Good from the pocket. Very accurate. He was like 71%. Gardner set a record, prior to him getting drafted by Jacksonville. And I would think Gordon's in that same mix. He's always in balance. The football is always catchable. The ball is always in a placement where the receiver can get it, and that's where he thrives, is from the pocket. So, can he get out of trouble? Yeah, I don't think he's the greatest athlete, but, he's not. I don't even think he's as athletic as Minshew, but if you want a good, accurate football thrown to your receiver, he's going to deliver it on the money.
Herbert's the other guy that needs to kind of build. The weird thing about Herbert is he doesn't convince me, brother.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of those moments from him.
Rose Bowl was his best performance.
Yeah, and it was more with his legs and his arm. And then the other thing that scares me that I hear a lot about is the lack of maturity. And that one of the main reasons why he stayed last year was maturity. But I still hear that it's these kind of moments and maybe the NFL that demands so much from you. I don't know if he's going to get to that point where he can handle it.
I agree with you. The on-the-field stuff, he's going to do really well.
Yeah.
It's the off
monster.
It's the off, like you said, how teams are going to evaluate him in the meeting rooms and the informal meetings, just how he reacts to his teammates out here. You know, people don't think they're evaluating on everything, but let's say he throws a bad pass. I'm sure the coaching staff's going to be, how does he react to that bad pass? How is he talking to the guys in the huddle? How does he react, dealing with the media? How is he back in the meeting rooms, back in the building when they're coming out here to practice? I think all those things are where he's getting evaluated a lot. His football, skills speak for themselves. He's big. He's got a big arm. You mentioned in the Rose Bowl, showed he can move, did well from that standpoint. And he's got an injury history. The shoulder, that's going to get checked out as well for him. But, again, he's a guy that if I were him, this is a business week for him. All those things that we just mentioned, he's got a chance to rise really high. And like I said, with Burrow not being here and electing to not being here, which I think is a mistake for him. I don't care if he does the on-the-field work. He should just come here to talk to the Bengals coaching staff. They could be drafting him. Why wouldn't you want to get to know Zach Taylor? But Herbert has the chance to really gain from Burrow not being here.
I could argue that Herbert is the one quarterback that has the most to gain and the most to lose. Why? Because Gordon is not considered a high-level prospect.
Yeah, they're all second
Jordan, tier. Right? They're supposed to build their stock up. Yeah. Herbert is already considered a high-level prospect, but because of the leadership stuff, that has brought it down, and he has a lot to lose because of that. It's funny because we just mentioned the name. That's where Carson Wentz dominated 2 years ago or 3 years ago now.
Leadership.
The entire group just rallied around him. Within 24 or 48 hours of him being here, he had taken over that locker room, and I don't know if Herbert can do that.
Well, think of the guys that raise their stock. One, you bring up Wentz. He elects to come here and compete. He rises to number 2 overall. Think of Baker Mayfield, him and Josh Allen. I mean, Baker ended up going number 1 overall. Josh Allen goes obviously high to the Buffalo Bills. Those guys.
Garoppolo too. Went from east-west to here and really boosted his stock.
Boosted his stock. He jumped in. You're right for a quarterback, and I'd say for all these draft picks, you could increase your draft stock by literally a round. Some guys it's a round and a half. I really believe that. But the quarterbacks in general, if you come down here and compete and do that, like Wentz, Allen, Baker Mayfield, who wasn't scared to go out there and play, and I think Herbert has that opportunity. I really do.
Jim Miller, of course, from SiriusXM. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up with this. What do you do if you're the Dolphins? Do you take Tua at 5? This is what I say. I'm not big at taking Tua at 5 because of the injury history, but you got 14 picks. Please pull a Jimmy Johnson. Please pull a Mike Shanahan. Take a second guy. Take Jordan Love in the early second. Take the kid from Iowa. I think he's a Stanley. Yeah. I think he's kind of an interesting prospect.
Ricky Stanley.
Yeah, take somebody later if you're going to do that. How do you handle it?
I'm with you. I think and that's not out of the realm to draft 2 quarterbacks in a draft. Think of Robert Griffin, and then they drafted Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Later in that draft, and just and for Tua,
Jimmy, they took Steve Walsh. After Troy Aikman.
The supplemental draft.
That's what I want.
They went Steve Walsh.
That's what I want.
I agree with that. I mean, and it's happened before. I think it would be good to protect the Dolphins, and especially for Tua, because it could be a situation where you still need to let him heal. Sit, relax. He's a fine talent. He's got great mechanics throwing a football.
Rosen and the other kid battle.
Yeah. I think they've made their evaluation on Rosen. I think that ship has sailed. Would be my take on it.
What you just talked about with Herbert.
Yeah.
Maybe they looked at all the other stuff and this is not the guy.
Yeah.
It's not the guy. We might be able to teach him to pass here or there, but look at everything else. He's not the guy.
Well,
he hasn't played enough to really say he's the guy or not.
Right.
So there must be other parts of the equation that they've been measuring.
I think I know what the issues are with Rosen, and I think it's a pretty damning statement by head coach Brian Flores when they elected to pull him and said, no, we've seen all we needed to see.
Yeah.
So that means, again, it's kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff, how he's preparing, how he gets along with his teammates, how is he in the huddle, his love of football, all those type of things. And I think – again, you can you want to draft guys that love football, guys that care about it. And I think when it's not a priority, I think it's a problem.
It's a effing brutal game.
Yeah.
If you don't love it, bro,
Yeah,
you can't play this game.
I totally agree.
It's crazy.
Got to be all in, man.
Jim, you're the best, bro.
You bet. Thank you. Always good to be with you.
Much love.
Next time, let's get into Jalen Hurts. He could help himself down here.
Okay. All right. We will. Then later on in the week, we'll catch up.
Yeah.
All
let's
right?
do it.
After we've seen practices.
You bet.
You got it. All right. There you go. Jim Miller, of course, from SiriusXM, man. You can catch him on channel 88 all the time doing his thing there, as always. And we thank him for taking some time. Here you go. I'll adjust it for you. Oh, by the way, here, I could give you the boys are they're starting to line up down there. You see? You see? NFL people are getting here. Any local stations in South Florida doing this right now, Bill? Can they give them a little insight on this?
Oh, that would be a huge, ginormous
no, of
negative.
course not. Those cheap bastards aren't going to spend a penny to come out here. Okay? But, of course,
Senior
we will.
Bowl? What's a Senior Bowl?
What?
What?
It's not important. It's not important. That's all. There you go. So that was Jim Miller right there, and talking a little bit about it. You see, I could have kept him here for a while, but I know they need him over there in the other booth. So I got to, I can't hog up 400 minutes of his time. I could do it. I could Jim and I could just talk draft for the next 2 hours, and we can go about whatever info he has, I have, all that good stuff. There we go. Can you adjust it because it looks kind of weird? My bad. Because I adjusted it this way. So, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105, Manny Navarro will be joining us in about 10 minutes for our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. So, we'll have a little fun with him. Ty from the Bronx says, Big O, tell Jim I said hello. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw that late, Ty. Question just answered. Premier Reviewer says, Nico Jones says, Big O, effing killing it. Amazing content, real sports talk. Not the other BS local stations give you, sounding like three frat boys handing out talking crap. No names mentioned. There you go. Appreciate it, Nico. Thank you very much. Let's see. Richard Casillas says, stay. Not worth the time. Heat's done nothing. I don't know what that means. But we appreciate you checking in, whatever you meant by that. Thank you for reaching out to us, as always. And remember to hit the like button when you're watching that. We're going to get Manny Navarro on here at the top of the hour. Practices will start. We'll take a break after Manny Navarro. We've got, I think we've done about 2 hours of programming, maybe a little bit more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to then watch a little practice, and I'm going to try to bring up another guest or two up here. They're also planning on getting us players too. So we hope to have some players to interview here while we're at the Senior Bowl. I'm looking forward to practices now. We're looking forward to this afternoon session as they take the field out here at Ladd Peebles Stadium. It's our 21st year of doing this crazy-ass stuff. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we love it. And as a Dolphins fan, I got to tell you, this is the most excited I've been about this in 20 years. Because I really feel like your Dolphins are going to develop one of the best front offices in the NFL. And I think they're going to hit on picks. And I think they're going to do a really good job of wheeling and dealing, like they have already, I believe, in the first calendar year that they've been in place. But I just, and if Flores can grow from what he did this past year, I'm just a huge fan of what the Dolphins are doing. I think they're doing things finally the right way. I know some of you for many years, he's negative and this and that. A lot of you that have common sense, I love the team as much as most of you out there, maybe even more. But it's not going to stop me from calling it like I see it. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. And if it's not good, I'll tell you. And that's what I've been saying for a long time. Which I know makes me spin like you guys think like I'm hating just to hate. And really look at the track record. It's been 20 years of terrible decisions. You have a decent season, in the middle of every 8 years or something, big deal. The league is kind of set up for you to be 500 anyways. So getting into the playoffs every few years, you should by accident get into the playoffs almost. Seriously. You have enough picks every year, and the way things change and the way, everything, the face of the NFL changes on a consistent basis, you should be able to have success on every, certain amount of years in a cycle. Now, in our case, we would like to have a lot more success. That would be good. What can I tell you? But
the crowds outside, they are amassing exactly like you said. There is not a parking spot to be had.
I told you.
We did very well.
I told you that.
You're astounding, bro.
It's 20. No, it's 20 years. There's no astounding. There's nothing. I've been doing this.
You know the lay of the land,
years.
Been there, done that, bought T-shirts. You did it all.
Yeah, I'm not a smart guy. There's nothing, it's habits that I have. That's it. Places I know to go to.
Bro, I looked out the window, man. It looks like somebody stepped on an ant pile out there, man, the way everybody's just...
Yep. That's how it is, man. And it gets worse and worse as the week goes on because it gets more and more packed. And I've told you guys over the years, if you're a hardcore football fan and you love the draft, this is one event that you should come to. With your son, daughter, your buddies, whatever. You get a hotel, stay for a couple days. The practices are free. You stay for the game on Saturday. They have all kinds of events where you can meet the players, autographs, things like that, pictures. You get to see all these guys before they become stars. Like Jordan Love right now is trying to earn his keep. What if that guy becomes a superstar and you met him here? You know what I mean? It's pretty cool like that. If you're a hardcore, again, it's for the hardcore. This is not... you love the draft and all that. You can be in the stands checking it all out, and you can have your roster and all that, and have a good time, and then see a lot of NFL people, and you're like, wow, hey, that's this guy, that's that guy, and all that stuff, because all the who's of the NFL are here. Everybody, every coach, every GM, pretty much every scout, unless you're a Bengals, staff that they don't bring everybody because they don't want to spend the money. But, that most everybody else, all the 31 other teams, they bring everybody. The Bengals, I don't know. They might bring 2 people, and one guy does all the work, that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, if you're a hardcore NFL draft fan, this is one of those events that is really, really awesome. Even I kind of feel bad for Bill because we're leaving Friday morning. We're driving back. Or Thursday night, I don't know, whatever, we leave. But my point is that when we do leave, we're not going to stay for the Saturday for the game. And I kind of feel bad for him because it's a great experience. It really is, man. By Wednesday and Thursday, I'll show Bill later, but there's an area where all the trucks are parked, all the RVs, to pull in so they can start getting ready for the game. But they're already staying in an area right by the downtown area. They have a spot for them to park and get ready.
This is my first rodeo, but it won't be my last. We'll just make plans for next year.
Yeah.
To stay through Saturday. Obviously, we got to get back. Obviously, look, the plan is Friday we're doing the travel, so there's going to be no show. But we're making up for it on Saturday and Sunday both.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
yeah. Saturday, actually, we'll have a regular day like a Friday where we'll be at Craig's Inn Acura in the morning and we'll be at Hialeah Park in the afternoon. And then Sunday, we're going to be from 11 to 3 out at Toyota of Hollywood. It's going to be like a regular Thursday, Friday, but it'll be Saturday and Sunday. So you're actually going to get full shows from us on Saturday and Sunday. Friday, again, we'll take it off because we're traveling. You know what I mean? I can't do anything. Can't. Although maybe I could record a little bit of a podcast while I'm driving. What do you think that's safe?
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Oh, okay, that's dangerous. Okay, I wasn't sure. I mean, we could. I could put on the headsets, pull out the mic. Bill films it. I'm in the car. I'm driving and talking at the same time. I think we might be able to pull it off. That might be a lot of fun.
We need to pay some bills and get ready for Manny Navarro.
Yes, let's do that. Caneswear Miami Fanwear, the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report with Manny Navarro. That will be next, ladies and gentlemen. We promised you a Manny Navarro segment like we do every week here on the show. We'll talk De'Aaron King. We'll talk Quincy Roche. We'll talk Lashley. We'll talk Manny Diaz. We'll talk a new kicker. We'll talk about anything else that's breaking with the Canes. Anybody else transferring in? Let's find out. Maybe Manny Navarro is entering the transfer portal. I have no idea. You have no idea what's next. Right here on the Big O Show. All righty. Welcome back, baby. We promised you we're going to talk a little Canes. Manny Navarro from The Athletic. It is time now for our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. And we do it at this time. Well, actually, we don't do it at this time normally. We do it at 1 o'clock normally. So just in case, on Tuesdays. But follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And, of course, get on down to Caneswear at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Tell Brett and all the great people that Big O sent you. Make sure you mention us. Manny!
What's up?
It's all about the U. I love it. All right, we're out here at the Reese's Senior Bowl, my brother. And we're going to see your boy this week here. Yeah, man. So we'll see if he can build his stock up here at the Senior Bowl. I talked about this earlier on my show, Manny. All right, look, I know that Diaz has a lot to prove to all of us coming off of this past season, that they look so unprepared, and he did too, and all of that. And it's not to fall for the hype or anything, but damn, dude, I got to give him a lot of love because you had concerns about the offense. You went and got yourself a coordinator. You were none of us convinced with any of the quarterbacks. This kid King looks pretty good. You go and add a hell of a defensive end. You had problems with your kicker, obviously. Bubba Baxter is now in the transfer portal. I think he's transferring to another country, whatever. You got a kicker that's pretty damn good from FIU. A lot of the issues that you had, you have addressed them head on. At least I got to say major props for that. Whether it works out or it doesn't, I don't know. The transfer portal wasn't the most productive thing last year as it was for the Canes. But at least on paper, they're addressing it, right?
Yeah, Mr. January. That's what I'm calling Manny Diaz. He always has an unbelievable January. Like you said, he attacked the transfer portal last year, and everybody was like, wow, this guy's for real. And then we got to August, September, and October, and it kind of died. But maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year he moves from the front of the calendar to the back and transitions and turns into Mr. August, September, October, November because of what he did this January. And so you're right. I think he deserves the props for that.
Manny, you sound a little muffled there. I don't know if you can move around a little bit there, but
sure. Can you hear me better there?
There we go. Yes, much better.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So no, my point is just let's see if Mr. January can become Mr. Fall. And all of these moves and everything that he's done to put himself in position to improve the team comes through. But you have to give him credit. He took care of many of the issues. He went to the offense that everybody wants them in, right? They're going to play in the spread. He went out and he got a veteran quarterback, a talented kid, a guy who might even be a dark horse for the Heisman this year, depending on the type of numbers he puts up. And then, you get the kicker, and he's not done either. I mean, he's still got to hire a wide receivers coach. And that could be an upgrade as well. So, offensive line coach, I mean, he addressed a lot of areas, and he's not standing, sitting on his hands and just saying, oh, woe is me, we were 6 and 7, and these damn players just would play the way I want them to. No, he's gone out and look, they even have a top 20 recruiting class, so let's not forget about that either. I mean, even with the losing, they still went out and they signed a pretty good class and some good freshmen, and I like what they did as far as redshirting a lot of the kids last year. Those guys I've heard a lot of good things about on the scout team. They're going to be moving up and playing roles this year.
What's your favorite move so far out of all the moves he's made?
Well, I mean, I think you have to go with Lashley, right? I mean, switch the offense up to basically acknowledge the fact that the majority of the kids in South Florida nowadays, where your recruiting base is playing in spread offenses. They're not playing in the scheme, this old pro-style attack and trying to do some of the things that Danny Enos was doing. You don't have the offensive lineman in your backyard. I know people call it a gimmicky type offense, but it's what everybody in college football is doing nowadays. It's what the more successful teams are doing because there's not that good of offensive line play. And not too many teams have great offensive lines. So how do you make up for it? You spread the field, you put guys in space, and you try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands as quick as possible. That wasn't happening last year with Danny Enos in that offense. And so he made the adjustment, and he listened to football people, not just the fans that were angry, but he listened to football people. He looked into it, and he went to this new offense. And then, part B of that is just certainly getting their team, because I think, look, you can go out and get a coordinator, but unless you get the guy to execute it on the field, you're going to be in the same boat you were last year. So I think getting their team was huge, and all of that started with getting rid last year, because ultimately, team doesn't come if last year's not here.
And, of course, Manny Navarro joins us every week for our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Make sure you visit the folks at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Make sure you mention our show when you're there to all the folks at Caneswear. Manny, what have you been able to unearth? Because it sounds like a lot of good stuff with De'Aaron King. But he, the 4 games he played and then chose the red shirt. Are there any negatives that you can find? Because it seems like, man, this is a story that's too good to be true almost.
Well, I mean, obviously everybody's going to look at it and say, well, he played against the American Athletic Conference. He didn't play a Power 5 schedule. But what I say to those people, and I wrote this in my story for The Athletic, in the 4 games that he played against Power 5 schools at quarterback, 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. He ran the ball, had success running the ball. I mean, he kept them in it against Oklahoma this year when Houston played Oklahoma in the season opener. So I don't think the kid was under the pressure of playing at a higher level. And let's be honest, it's not like the ACC Coastal was that much better than the AAC last year, right?
Nope.
So I think, other than him being 5'11", and being a guy who, if he takes a really hard lick, he can get knocked out. I think, he's an exciting football player. And this program, they've had some exciting players the last few years. But this kid is like, when you start talking about Heisman candidate and, 50 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in his career, there's more numbers I can throw at you that some of my research. Number one, in terms of efficiency, touchdown interception ratio, he's 6th among players with at least 50 touchdown passes since 2016. The only players that were better than him in terms of touchdown interception ratio, Tua, Joe Burrow, Dwayne Haskins, Baker Mayfield, and Trevor Lawrence.
Wow.
So this guy is on that level. And then in terms of his completion percentage, look, yes, the majority of his passes are short, 5 yards or less. But he still completes 76% of those passes, from 6 to 15 yards downfield to completing 57, and then over 16 yards, 43%. Those career numbers compared to what Miami quarterbacks did last year are better. He completed more passes than Miami QBs did. So he's a more accurate passer than what Miami has collectively coming back. He's experienced, and then, of course, he brings the running element, which none of those guys really have. I mean, N'Kosi Perry is elusive, but, running quarterbacks in today's game, again, I know your philosophy. You look at guys like Lamar Jackson and wonder how long can they do it?
No, college. I don't look at it in college that way. College is a whole different. I look at that differently. In the NFL, I don't want my guy running 200 times because he's dead in the water. College, it's a whole different ball game. There's a lot of times you're so much better than everybody else around you. That's a whole different. In the NFL, you're not, bro. It's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? So I have a different philosophy in college. I don't mind the guy running a lot in college because dude, you can't find 32 good quarterbacks in the world. How in the hell are we going to find 100 and something for college? You know what I'm saying? Right. So you got to find other ways to win in college. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but if this kid is anything like Kyler Murray was or Jalen Hurts, which is basically what you're hoping he is, right? You're hoping he's that kind of a talent. Then where does that put Miami? Where would that have put them last year with this Would they have gone 6-7? Hell no. They would have played much better than that. So if this kid performs at that kind of level where he's putting up big numbers and he's thriving in an offense, then it's going to be a good year next year for Miami.
Dude, Quincy Roche, 13 sacks, opposite of a dude that had 15 and a half. Holy crap. They're going to have two werewolves this year getting after quarterbacks.
No question. And that's going to be really unique. I mean, you talk about what success is in college football nowadays with these spread offenses. If you have to bring more than 4 pass rushers to get pressure on the quarterback and to get the ball out of his hands, odds are you're leaving somebody uncovered and somebody open downfield to make a big play against you. And so the whole secret to Manny Diaz's defense really has been that aggressive nature. And they've been a great team getting to the quarterback in terms of the defense he's been here. I mean, they're top 22 in sacks for the last 4 years. I think they were number 7 this year. And then, you lose John Garvin early to the NFL. You lose, Trevon Hill, who's there at the Senior Bowl. So you lose 2 of your top 3 pass rushers. You bring Will Hill back. And now all of a sudden, you don't have to count on, Scott Patchin or even Jalen Phillips, who hasn't played football in over a year, or any of these upcoming freshmen to be sort of a wingman to Gregory Rousseau. No, you go out and you get one of the best defensive player of the year in the AAC to come in and basically share the other side. And so now, none of those guys are going to face too many double teams because, you can pick your poison. You can double team Rousseau, but that just means Roche's, one-on-one with the other guy. And, Jalen Phillips is a very good pass rusher. He's the number 1 high school player in the country. I think there's big expectations for him as well. He's a big physical freak himself. You put those 3 guys rushing after the quarterback on 3rd down, and Miami's going to be one of the best in the country, if not the best, at putting pressure on the opposing team.
All right, so I know that transfer portal is trying to suck you in. Anybody else going into the transfer portal and ending up here in Coral Gables? What do you hear?
Well, I know that they're going after some graduate transfer offensive linemen. The thing is, a lot of those guys, they would have had to have been in class by today. So I think, you can get those guys over the summer, get them in the fall. If they've been in a college program for 3 or 4 years, they're going to be able to come right in and play right away. So I think, you have to monitor that. But outside of that, I would have liked to see them get a receiver. It would have been nice to get another KJ Osborne type of player. But I don't think that's going to happen here as far as the spring is concerned. It could happen over the summer. But that's it. I mean, they've got 23 guys essentially already. There's not many scholarships left. So, you kind of have to adhere to the NCAA rules and play by those rules. So, there's going to be more guys added here in the weeks ahead before signing day. But I'm not expecting a whole lot of them. I think the space is sort of whittling down.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work at The Athletic. And what's the next thing you're working on, Manny, so folks can check you out at The Athletic and subscribe and stop slacking so they can follow the Canes the way they're supposed to?
Well, I mean, listen, if they would have been following me, they would have known that Derek King was coming on Sunday because I broke that story on Sunday, the day before everybody else. So right off the bat, you would have been better off. But
That's right.
I got a lot of stories coming, man. I got an offensive depth chart breakdown, a defensive special team, sort of a first look at what it's going to look like in 2020. That's kind of what we're working on this week. Kind of review of the 2017 recruiting class and how that really, that was Mark Richt's first full recruiting class and just how it bombed and how it really led to a lot of the problems Miami had. So, there's a lot of off-season stuff going on, and I've written a lot. I've had a big feature on the new offensive line coach that's up there at theathletic.com right now. And so I would tell you, man, subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, there's a lot of great content, not just from me and our other writers here in South Florida, but you got a whole network, man. You got the whole country, even Europe. Soccer, all of our soccer coverage overseas in the Premier League is outstanding. The podcast, a lot of good things. But there'll probably be some news in that hopefully here soon.
Yeah. Michelle's killing it all by herself.
Hey, listen, man. You know how it is nowadays. Everything's getting squeezed. They just announced today that we got another $50 million from investors. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hire somebody to cover soccer in Miami. So,
hey, dude, you and I know that whoever covers that Inter Miami team is going to get more page views than anybody that covers the Marlins. So,
That's true.
You know, I mean, the summer, that's the team to follow. It's not going to be, you know, I'd love for the Marlins to step up, but you and I know Jorge Mas, that is one motivated dude, bro. Okay?
No question. No question, bro.
That guy wants to do something special, and whoever covers that, they're gonna be on a pretty good beat, man. That's gonna be a fun beat.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. All right, Manny, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time here on our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
All right, brother. Take care. Enjoy your Senior Bowl.
Always, baby, always. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. And, of course, we thank Brett and all the amazing people at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Get on down there. Follow them on Twitter at Canes_wear. Go to the website, caneswear.com. If you order over $99, you will get free shipping. It's interesting. We just finished with Manny, and if you look, see those and all of that, you look over on the far end over there, that's a lot of NFL personnel that's out there. There are some fans that might be mixed in. A lot of the fans go around the stadium, but you see it's mostly NFL people that are here. I'm telling you. And all along the sidelines there, that's where our office. And then the one to its right that looks just like the big one with the pointy thing, that's the team hotel. The one on the right, the smaller one. See it? There you go. How about that? Giving you guys everything, the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle here. So we're having fun out here at Le Senior Bowl is what it's all about. What else do we have? We got to wrap it up here on the show. We got, for now.
Okay.
For now, we're wrapping it up. We'll be back later. Well, maybe in a half hour, an hour, we go back on the air again and we do an interview with somebody. I will try to get some interviews now. And maybe we'll get a player also to call in, something along those lines. But we're going to shut down for the moment, okay? If you guys have any questions when we start it back up again, it might be in a half hour, it might be an hour from now, it might be 3 hours from now. After the two practices are done, we'll do our report and we'll talk about what we saw on the field and things like that. But yeah, everything will be set here. We appreciate it, as always, all of you for tuning in, as always. We thank Bill, as always, working hard here. And we'll see you guys in a few. We definitely will. We'll see you in a few, and we'll be back giving you more coverage from the Reese's Senior Bowl. Be good out there.
This is the Big O Show.